I want to share something with you today that I believe will make you much more effective at resolving conflict and building collaboration. But I want to start by telling you a little story about some groups of chickens, because believe it or not, chickens have a lot to teach us about collaboration. This takes place at Purdue University, where Bill Muir is a professor of genetics and a genuinely nice guy. And Bill was looking into the differences between groups of collaborative chickens. These were just chickens that got along well with each other. I call them the green zone chickens. And there were no star performers in their group. They were just nice to each other. And in the chicken world, a star performer is the hen that lays the most eggs. But the problem with the star performers is that they tend to be much more aggressive animals. And so we oftentimes see among the chickens something that we occasionally see in human organizations, and that is that the star performers become the stars not by being so good themselves, but by suppressing the egg production of the other chickens. So they look better, and they do this by pecking on them. Now, I call these more aggressive star performers the red zone chickens, and they do a lot of damage.
Ou seja, estamos falando de duas zonas. A Green Zone, um ambiente colaborativo que provê suporte, e a Red Zone, um ambiente mais contraditório, conflituoso e não colaborativo. A Red Zone tem bastante a ver com a insegurança psicológica, que falamos em outro módulo. Estamos falando de um contexto hostil, de ameaças e medo, em que as pessoas vivem em um estado de alerta. Já a Green Zone é um ambiente de confiança mútua, de suporte, de honestidade e abertura.
I would like you to use all your creativity and empathy to let yourself become one with this piece of paper. Know what it feels like to be this piece of paper. Nice and cool to the touch and crisp edges and a few sharp corners and a few wrinkles like some of us have. So in just a minute, I'm going to ask you all to take a deep breath. We'll do this all together. And as you exhale, I would like you to focus all your attention on this piece of paper and just see if it's possible for you to breathe yourself right into this piece of paper and become one with it. Okay, is everybody ready? All right, go. Okay, everybody have that now? Got it? Now, anybody want to collaborate with me right now? Or build a relationship with me right now? Or more likely, anybody have any really strong negative red zone feelings towards me right now? So I apologize for this, but I wanted to do this because I wanted you to see how easily and quickly you can move from the green zone, where pretty much everybody was in this room just a minute ago, into the red zone. And when it happens, it can happen just that fast. And when it happens, we don't have defenses. They have us. They own us. They become our operating system, and they determine how we see the rest of the world out there. And the problem is, it's almost all unconscious stuff. So we don't even recognize that we're getting defensive until it's too late. So here's our premise about defensiveness. When we get defensive, we are not defending ourselves from another person. We are defending ourselves from fears inside of us that we don't want to feel. Three big fears that come up all the time. Fears about our own significance, our competence, and our likability.
O problema de dentro dos ambientes corporativos é que sair da Green Zone e ir para a Red Zone é algo que acontece de forma muito rápida e com muita frequência.
So your job is to figure out what your specific signs of defensiveness are and then create your own early warning system. Then when it tips you off that you're getting defensive, here's a few things that you can do that can help. Number one, acknowledge to yourself that you're getting defensive. Now that may not seem like it's a big deal, but if you don't notice it, you won't take any other action. Number two, do whatever you can do to slow down your physiology. Maybe take a walk around the building and get some fresh air. Or if you're trapped in a meeting, just take a few deep breaths. Number three, pay attention to your self-talk. If you're engaging in negative self-talk, consciously try to turn it into something a little more positive and a little less toxic for you. Number four, create an action step that is directly related to whatever your sign of defensiveness is. So for example, if your sign is flooding with information to prove a point, maybe your action step would be just to be quiet for 10 or 15 seconds. Just zip it up. If it's high charge of energy in the body, maybe it's take a few deep breaths or visualize some relaxing scene. If it's a sudden drop in IQ, do something that's going to buy you a little time to let your thinking process catch up with the rest of your body. You know, maybe hang out in the restroom for a few minutes. One woman, her sign was always wanting the last word, and so she got this image of herself standing at the conference room door, throwing in the last word and slamming the door. And it was a way of not only reminding her of what she was doing, but also lightening up her mood a little bit. So you create your action step. Then number 5 is, this is a recovery model. This is not a model of perfection. So if you get defensive, like we all will, you notice it, you take some action, and then start over and let it go. So to recap, when you leave here today, the 2 most helpful next steps for you will be, number 1, figure out what your signs of defensiveness are and create your own early warning system. And then number 2, figure out an action step and practice it. You want to practice it so it becomes automatic, because the worst time to be figuring out how to deal with your defensiveness is when you're defensive. Now, if you can do both of these things, I guarantee you, you will significantly increase your chances of ending up like a green zone person rather than one of those red zone chickens. In the words of one of our wisest, greatest modern-day philosophers, it's not easy being green. But let me tell you, it's a whole lot easier and a lot more effective than being red, and it could just make a big difference in your lives. Thank you very much.
Você não pode competir externamente se você não consegue colaborar internamente.